okay. And it was weird to me, the timing, because I'm like, don't get mad at me for leaving you on red 2 days in a row just to tell me you still love your ex.
Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about he only told me he was interested because his ex wasn't. Can you imagine that you're interested in somebody new and all of a sudden you think it's going well and then they say, look, I'm going to try and get back with my ex. But then they come back and they're like, no, my ex isn't interested, so now I'm interested in you.
Nobody likes to feel like a plan B or a second option.
That's what happens in this video to this poor woman. That is an awful feeling. Nobody wants to feel like their second choice. Mm-hmm. Okay? And, especially if you're excited about somebody, you're interested in getting to know them, you're feeling a connection, and then they're saying, well, yeah, I am interested because the other people weren't. So we got a good video that we want to share. And if you guys have ever been in a situation like this, have somebody ever told you that?
Yeah. Nobody's
ever told me that. No. Of course, there's no first choice above me, so that's not a problem. But I'm kidding, of course. But that's so rude to say to somebody so callously, like, okay, if you feel that way because you're really attached to your ex, that's understandable. But you don't go back to the other person and make them feel like now you're the second best option.
Right, and you want to be with somebody who wants to be with you, not just because there's no better options available.
Yeah, so let's see what she has to say.
All right, let's hear it.
I am absolutely fed up with Utah boys. And if you are not familiar with Utah boys, consider yourself lucky. Let's get into the story time. Let's begin.
What is going on in Utah? I am not familiar with Utah boys.
Why particularly Utah? All right, let's hear it.
I'm familiar with Russian women. I get a lot of complaints about them. But Utah boys, no. Maybe we should have them meet.
Utah boys and
Russian women.
I think it could be like what's it called? An intervention for the Utah boys.
Yeah, it could be a real wake-up call.
Let's see.
I have never been on a date with this guy. Okay, we have to preface that. So I've never been on a date with him, but whenever we were in groups of people, I always felt like we kind of had a vibe. And even to the point where my friend was like, oh, you and him are definitely vibing. So he DM'd me on Instagram, and for me, that's a sign that yeah, you were correct. We're vibing. I'm kind of interested in you. So he DMs me on Instagram, and we're just chatting it up, and I don't think the conversation wasn't going anywhere, so I left him on red. Next morning, and he's like, oh my gosh, leaving me on red is crazy. And I'm like, oh haha, sorry, what's up? So we just kind of are talking, and the conversation basically dies down again. So I just left him on red, not intentionally, it's just when the conversation's not going anywhere. So I leave him on red.
Okay, well, I mean, when somebody does that, it does feel a little frustrating. You kind of wonder if they're interested. So maybe he was wondering if she wasn't interested at that point.
You also can't push interest, okay? So if somebody's not responding to you a couple times and they're not, initiating or seeming to reciprocate that interest, read the room.
Yeah.
So I leave him on red, and I wake up the next morning to a second text to him saying wow, 2 days in a row, that's crazy.
Not that crazy.
Not that crazy at all.
So I text him back, and I'm like, okay, how was your day? Tell me what's going on. Actually, in response, and he goes, I just think you should know that I'm trying to get back with my ex right now. Why did you text me? Why did you text me 2 days in a row getting mad that I left you on red? Why are we talking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's anxious and he's scared because he really wants to be back with his ex, and because he's afraid to be alone, I think he's reaching out to other people.
Mm-hmm. And we appreciate the honesty of him being transparent with her about him, trying to reconnect with his ex, but he also has to be aware of what he's doing here and aware of his actions. Being transparent about being shady isn't always the best thing to do. And that's an understatement.
Yeah, you're actively showing an interest in this person. You're getting upset because they're leaving you on red. And then but by the way, thought you should know you're my second option.
Yeah, very odd.
that's not even the worst of it. So then I respond because I'm trying to be like nice. And so I'm feeling like, I'm like, oh, did I misinterpret every single thing that's ever happened in my life? So then I'm like, oh, like literally no worries. Like, good luck. I hope everything like works out with you and her. 2 days later, I get a text from this guy. And he says, she didn't want to get back together, LOL. So yeah, ...
LOL. First of all, there's no LOL. He is not laughing. I can assure you of that. And ... means desperate.
That's what the dot stands for.
Exactly. But it's so rude to do to this woman. I mean, come on. Like, you're pursuing her, then you're telling her you're interested in your ex, and then you're coming back 2 days later. First of all, what do you think? He did a good reminder text? Handwritten letter, and he was waiting for it to get delivered.
I'm curious what he thought her response might be. Oh my gosh, I'm excited that that it didn't work out, so now I have a chance.
I was hoping you were going to be this desperate.
And it almost sounds like he's saying that for her to maybe comfort him or talk him through it. Something like that, but you have to be aware of the types of things that you're sharing and disclosing to people this early on. They haven't even been on a date. You know, this would be something different if they had been on a date where he was like, wait a minute, I'm still hung up on my ex. I don't know if I'm into something serious, but this is like so before that conversation.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how I would feel if somebody did that to me. Like if I was really interested in getting to know somebody, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm trying to get back with my ex. I'm going like, oh, well, this obviously isn't really going to go anywhere because you already have an agenda. And then you come back a couple days later, I'm going to be like, well, I still don't think this is going anywhere because I don't think that agenda is gone.
Mm-hmm. And I could see the disrespect to where she's feeling, how dare you think that I would be a person who would be going along with this? How dare you think that my self-worth is so low that I would be okay with entertaining this conversation while you're actively telling me you're trying to pursue your ex? I can see where the offense comes in.
Yeah. Let's see what she has to say.
Okay.
Have you ever been told you are a second option in bold letters? Because that is literally what that text just said. Okay, first of all, I'm going to give you my opinion, and I need real opinions on this. Okay, here's my opinion. I'm all for, forward communication, but, we'd never been on a date, so we'd never been to the point where it's, we talk about, where we're at. I was okay. And it was weird to me, the timing, because I'm don't get mad at me for leaving you on red 2 days in a row just to tell me you still love your ex. Also, I love that line. Keep using that. That's every single guy ever. Every single guy ever is I love my ex still. What is up with that? But I think the worst is the second part to this is when he texts me again and he goes, she didn't want me, so yeah. As if I'm supposed to be this is fantastic news. Let's keep talking. I've never even, actually I have come across this multiple times, but every single time it still haunts me. I feel this is the average experience though with a Utah man.
I don't think it's just a Utah man, but maybe it is going on more in Utah. But, look, if this was a job interview and you were the second choice for the job, you might feel okay with it. You're like, all right, I'm still getting the job.
Right.
Right? But not when it comes to somebody that you're wanting to spend your life with or get to know or, see if there's a potential future together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I could see her frustration here. She's tired of kind of going through this, being with men who are emotionally unavailable. I can see this also being an avoidant attachment issue. We talk about the phantom ex sometimes, where there's that lingering ex that keeps us from being too close with another person, and that can be something that's perpetual. You're so hung up on your ex and maybe mistakes you made in that relationship that it keeps you from building deep, meaningful connections with new people in your life, or the possibility of connecting with somebody else. And I could see his attempt here was to be transparent, but you also have to think about how you're treating people in the process.
Yes, it's mean. It's mean to say this to somebody. I would not like that if somebody said that to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Am I crazy? No, I'm not. This is the average experience with a Utah guy. I swear, every single guy out here is in love with his ex. Okay, that's true. That's fact. And then also they have these rosters, okay? I feel like people are going to come for me in the comments, but I don't care. Literally, I'm so over it. I'm so done with it. I'm so tired of texting my therapist and talking about this with her. Oh my gosh. And even so, yeah, this is just the average day for me now in Utah.
And a lot of guys do date a lot of different women or try and talk to a bunch of different women, especially in the beginning, because, you know, they feel like it's a numbers game. You got to just keep trying and trying and trying until, you know, somebody gives you a real chance or you have a real connection with somebody. So that does happen a lot. And that's fine, you know, when you're still getting to know somebody, you know, there's only so much truth you have to give them or share with them or be vulnerable about. You know, you're just getting to know somebody.
Yeah. And it's sad to me that she's starting to now form this belief that all men are like this. And this is what's sad. It seems like sometimes the loudest voices are the ones that, you know, make you believe that that's all that's out there when that might not be true.
Maybe just in Utah.
I've never been to Utah, so that might be the case. If you're from Utah, please chime in. If there's any, you know, decent men from Utah, please comment. Let's hear what you got to say. State your defense.
And has anybody ever said anything like that to you? That, you know, they only wanted you or were interested because their ex wasn't interested in them? I'd love to know. Leave a comment, okay? All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.